bully my brother? Guess you won't know who blew up the toilet. This is not my story, but from my educational advisor. One of the legit funniest people I have ever met. The other day we were talking about our school times and the differences between being educators and students. When she started telling this story, she used to be the model student, getting along with all the teachers and getting the best grades in her classroom. But there was that one teacher she could not get along with. It was her chemistry teacher, and she described her as all teachers have that breaking point where they just start screaming. But hers was incredibly easy to find. Until the point of the start of the story. She was just an unliked teacher and someone my advisor just dealt with. But one day, she reached her breaking point when her brother told me this teacher, which I'm gonna be calling her rude teacher, was calling him stupid and screaming at him for not knowing an answer she hadn't even explained properly yet. That was when she got involved in a plan. The famous toilet bomb. Because of the shared gender with the teacher, she knew where and when rude teacher would use the restroom. She had a strange routine with the exact time and stall she used to use. And because she is a model student, she could come and go without being even noticed, since no one would assume she was up to no good. Thing is, the whole class was in on it. Before she got involved with the plan though, there was a single condition. No one would rat or blame someone else. No one was supposed to talk anything. She had a plan. And to the toilet the bomb went. My advisor went to the stall, installed the toilet bomb and went back to class at the exact time rude teacher had her restroom break. When she came back from doing the deed, she sits down at her desk and hears the explosion, followed by rude teacher screaming bloody murder and coming back to class to scream at them. The only classroom that was on break for teacher transition was my advisor's class. So rude teacher beelined straight to them and started demanding to know who did this. Of course, radio silence. She jumped in anger like a toddler, made all threats she could legally do and made the biggest tantrum you could imagine, while being absolutely soaked in toilet water. Radio silence. The next logical step for rude teacher was to call the principal. That arrived at class with a box filled with pieces of paper. She explained that everyone was to write the name of someone involved in the toilet bomb and put there to be taken and read by her by the end of class. That was when my advisor stepped in. The second the principal was out of the class, she told everyone to just write, "It was me," in capital letters and put the paper back in the box, which everyone did. When the principal came back and started looking at the papers in front of the class, she slowly turned from a normal color to a deep, fiery red and started throwing her own tantrum. Guess they found out her breaking point, and did the only thing she could do at that point. She suspended the whole goddamn class for 3 days. In the end, my advisor did everything. Blew up the toilet, lead the class to not snitch on anyone, and earned 3 days at home without no one suspecting anything. Edit. This did not happen in the US and it was almost 40 years ago. My counselor was 14 and now she is 52 years old. So I would appreciate if you guys understand that older stories are not as clear and detailed as recent ones, as I understand if it sounds unbelievable. Since it's not my story and I laughed a whole lot when my counselor told me, I thought it would be nice to share with y'all. EDIT2. Oh my god. This blew up so much. Thank you for all the rewards and for the upvotes. Even more pro would have been for everybody to write down that RT had done it. Great revenge story, since being covered in toilet water is absolutely disgusting. I am Toilet Spartacus. Explain what the toilet bomb is please and how one does this. 70s. Oh, what a fun prank, haha. Now, we got a terrorist, call the government. Call the CIA. Call EEVVEERRYYONE. Ma'am, terrorists don't use firecrackers. TERRORRORRIUISSSSTTTSSS. Because she is a model student. She could come and go without being even noticed, since no one would assume she was up to no good. I was that model student. Nobody thought I could do any wrong. I could come and go in school and nobody thought anything of it. Students outside the classroom during class had to have a hall pass. Except for me. Nobody ever questioned me. I later learned some teachers I didn't have actually thought I was a teacher. One day a teacher who hated me saw me in the hall. And she jumped at the opportunity to demand my hall pass. And crowed with delight that I didn't have one. She was busy naming all the things the school would do to me. When to her horror I pulled out a pad of blank signed passes another teacher had given me. Wrote myself a pass. Threw it at her. And walked away. Her meltdown to the principal got her put on paid leave for several days. Because the teacher who had signed all the passes swore up and down that he had given me a pass. Senior year I used to have study hall for 4 hours a day. I would have had it for 8 hours a day except I took some electives. I completed all my graduation requirements early but they won't let me leave and go to college early or just have a job to build up college savings. I managed to get out of it and assigned to be elsewhere. At a place they didn't really care if I showed up. Sometimes I'd sneak into the school theater's furniture storage. I had a key because I did lighting. And take a nap on the couch. I only got caught leaving it once. By some fellow students that didn't like me. So I pulled out a police ID. Genuine, long story. And shut them up. Some kids liked to torment me. So one day I snapped and beat them up. One when a teacher was out of the room and one while the bus driver, who was my best friend's father, watched. I didn't get in any trouble. Because when they told on me the bus driver said, I didn't see anything, and the teacher looked at me in shock and I said, now, would I go and do something like that? And he said, no. No you wouldn't, and yelled at the other kid to get back to work. When everybody knows you can do no wrong. You can do anything you want and get away with it. We had a teacher nobody liked. Her name was Drive B something. Everyone called her Dr. B.H. And her class was Earth Science. Geology. If you went to HPRHS, you probably know who I'm talking about. I worked my behind off for her. She gave me a C. My father went crazy. He wanted an A+ in every class. I got screamed at for 3 hours. Not kidding. I timed it. So, knowing that I was going to get screamed at anyway, I did nothing the next quarter. Absolutely nothing. I turned in no homework and when she gave a test I signed my name at the top and handed in a blank page. I got a D. I didn't deserve it. I should have gotten an F. Which told me that the grades we got had nothing to do with our performance. My father went nuts. The next quarter I continued to do nothing. I got an F. My father was apoplectic. I was concerned he might have a heart attack. I continued to do nothing. Fourth quarter. I got a C. My father started yelling at me. And he finally listened a couple hours in when I told him again that I had done nothing for 3 quarters and my grade went down and up again. So it wasn't based on reality. 3 years later I randomly encountered Dr. B in a stairwell. The only time I'd ever seen her out of her classroom. Her face lit up with a big smile. And she said, "My name. So nice to see you. How have you been?" I was just so weirded out by it. She remembered my name after 3 years, although we'd never actually spoken before, and she was smiling. That I made polite excuses and ran off as fast as possible. I later realized she was a nice person just acting sour. And the real thing she was teaching wasn't earth science. It was how to fail. It was probably very hard on her, knowing that she was universally disliked by students because of it. I was buying it right up until the whole class was in on it, and bunch of PPL together like that. There's at least one snitch. ProRevenge is one of the best ways to learn English. Change my mind. You saying she had a remote detonated bomb or something? How could it have been hidden in the toilet? How did she know it wouldn't seriously hurt the teacher? Not trying to be a dick, I just can't wrap my head around how she would literally set off an explosive charge less than a meter away from someone and be sure it was safe. Like, I know you could use a very small amount of gunpowder or something, but still. Porcelain is sharp as fuck, and if she were sitting in it she would have fallen down into the shards that stayed attached to the base and sliced her legs, ass up. I find it hard to believe that a principal was able to suspend an entire class for that and not get any backlash. As others said, writing the name of the teacher or the principal on it, or just nothing, would be even more hilarious. She's my hero. I read the title and thought, I have to read this. How do you make a toilet bomb? The names on the paper reminded me of that part where all the crucified prisoners say, I am Spartacus. This is like the tame school version of that. But still epic. Kudos on the great revenge story.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Eracast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.